to the time of your life. This live stream is titled C.S. Joseph's Misinformation Factory. I considered titling it C.S. Joseph's Misinformation and Exploitation Factory. But I want to begin this live stream by saying that I'm going to be cautious in how I approach this subject because I'll begin with recounting my history a bit here. So I don't remember the exact year, it was maybe 2020 or something. I got a strike for bullying C.S. Joseph. And the reason I got this strike is because I was critiquing him in admittedly uncivil language, right? So I certainly want to avoid engaging in any uncivil language here. But I was struck some by Hero Lamb's accounting of some of C.S. Joseph's bad behavior. And I've encountered multiple other accountings of his bad behavior. So it's necessary for somebody to hold him to account. He's one of the only people, maybe the only person, and I can think of in all of history, who has successfully silenced me. Which is to say, my critique of him, while it did contain a lot of uncivil language, was absolutely correct in its core, which was he was critiquing Taylor, saying and making it a straight up ad hominem kind of fallacy, right? That we shouldn't listen to him because he was arrested. I mean, that's just the worst kind of scumbaggery, in my opinion, because you're trying to delegitimize somebody and what they're saying based on some irrelevant thing from their past, right? Did you do some shit again? Well, I mean, I was motivated by this by hearing Hero Lamb's accounting of bullying going on his, I guess, Discord server, and the a lot of reports. Granted, all this stuff is hearsay, so I'm not making the claim that I've observed a lot of the stuff I've heard about directly, and it's a fair critique to say that I should go observe that directly, which is why I titled this C.S. Joseph's Misinformation Factory, because one thing that we can all agree on without any particular um, controversy, I guess, is that he's doing a terrible job with typology and giving people terrible misinformation. And then after he's informed somebody of their type, which he's concluded in like 5 minutes based on his shorthand heuristics that completely fail to type people correctly. I've encountered plenty of people who who have been mistyped by C.S. Joseph, have been confused by C.S. Joseph. I've encountered many people who've had hi Zane PTI. Hi, Allah is one. Allah is one what? Regardless, thing is, one piece of video of his that was shared to me, I believe by Show Media, involved do I remember you or not? I guess vaguely. I don't know. Wait, sure, sort of. The name Zane sounds familiar. Uh, so the point is, okay, well, congratulations. Allah is your God. Please don't say Allah. I'll say whatever the fuck I want. You came in here as the name Allah is one. You're about to get yourself banned too. Because I'm not interested in playing your games today. I'm interested in uh, making what I believe to be a fully legitimate critique of C.S. Joseph's Misinformation Factory. Uh, for example, he believes himself to be an ENTP, claims himself to be such, and asserts that I am an ESTP of all things. Now, if we have any reasonable consensus about what extroverted intuition comprises, what an ENTP looks like, you're going to acknowledge certainly that I am an NTP, not an STP. If I were an STP, I wouldn't be nearly as into all the various pointless creativities that I'm engaged in, you know? ESTPs have a better sense of impact than that. My daughter's an ESTP, so I have direct, just able to directly distinguish between the two. I know Taylor well from Flow State. He's an ESTP. You can ask him if he thinks I'm an ESTP. He'll be sure to say he does not, I'm sure. I'm one of them. I spent a long time thinking I was an ISTP due to a system. I tried shoving myself into that box, knew it was wrong, so now I'm glad you call him out so that others don't do the same. Right. Well, he is very quick to type people, and don't believe I've ever heard him express uh, likelihood of him being correct or something. Like, when I spend an hour typing somebody, sometimes at the end of that hour, I'm still not entirely sure what type they are. And I say, I'm typing you as this, but I can't tell you it's definitive 100% sure. You might also be this, even maybe potentially this. But it's very unlikely I've got three. But the point is, it takes me a full hour for most people to successfully type them. I mean, ISFPs, ISTPs, I can know by 25, 30 minutes probably for sure, but I'll continue doing due diligence, making sure, verifying my results and stuff. See, it's just, it doesn't do anything of the sort, right? He is treating typology as C.S. Joseph's declaration that you are Mya, based on things he cannot justify, will not explain, except by saying, oh, just read the books that I've read or something, and you'll understand it too. In other words, he's asking you entirely to rely upon his intuition, but he's behaving as though the thing he's talking about is real and definitive, despite the fact that he's done none of the work necessary to actually make his typings real and definitive. If you think you can go out on the street and type somebody in 5 minutes, you're crazy. You are absolutely crazy. Or, as I believe, just simply exploitative. So, one of the reasons why I wanted to call this C.S. Joseph's Misinformation and Exploitation Factory, but I chose not to, is I believe, and this is just my opinion, I'm not trying to slander the guy, but I believe that for him, typology is just the thing that he uses to make money, bang chicks, young chicks, and be this kind of central figure in a community that celebrates him and does not allow legitimate critique or questioning of him. So I'm happy to hear Sean Lang chime in that he's had an experience like this where he was told he was one thing, tried to understand himself through that typing, and discovered it wholly inadequate to explain him. And there are lots of people like that. So many of them end up getting typed by me, and then they understand what a real typologist looks like and does, and how they behave and how they are accountable, right? You have to be responsible about this shit because you're fucking around with people's identity. You're telling them what they are, and then C.S. Joseph additionally has the goal to tell them what they ought to do. He's full of helpful advice, purportedly. But of course, I don't believe it's very possible for for anybody to give a lot of advice regarding type, except perhaps to their own type. I feel comfortable giving advice to ENTPs. I know their experience. I know what they're like. I know how it is to be an ENTP, and my experience is relevant to it. His intuition is inadequate entirely to tell people what type they are, and additionally, trying to make everything into something teleological. In other words, he can advise you how to live your life because he knows your type and he has this sort of set of advices that he gives to each type is ridiculous and crazy and insane. The idea additionally that it's morally ethically okay or somehow wise to ego hack other people uh, is, well, I mean, it's inherently violating of the deontological perspective, which is to say, don't use other people as a means to an end. Susie says, INTP just needs to go to the gym and pick up ENTJ chicks. Yeah, right. It's like that's the kind of advice he gives. His videos aren't very helpful, says Dustin McMahon. I think he's confused about his own type. Oh, he certainly is. And if someone doesn't know themselves, it's hard to know other people. Well, if C.S. Joseph's typological approach types himself as ENTP, then let's say there's any consistency to the typological approach, he's going to mistype other TE DOMs as ENTP, right? If he's not consistent, then it's entirely worthless anyway. You could try to make the case that it's consistently wrong in certain ways, but I don't think that's really the case. Additionally, he's like irresponsible in his labeling of types with just these broad sort of attributions of character to them, right? Like he purportedly said INFPs are power hungry, very ambitious, or something. Well, first of all, that's if you're gonna attribute that to any type, it wouldn't be that type. But it's a bad idea in general to attribute general negative labels to a type. People are fragile beings, you know? And this is something I've not always been great about. I'll admit that. But at least I seem to have a moral center that in which I try to improve and do better in dealing with other human beings as human beings, you know? People who are looking to understand themselves better are seeking externalities that explain to them who they are. Like, Justin McMahon says, I have disagreed with Eric, me, throughout the years on some things, but I have no doubt that you are an ENTP. He feels like an ESTJ. I really disagree with your typing, but yeah, well, I mean, Justin McMahon, you're not alone at all in frequently or sometimes disagreeing with me about stuff. I voice a lot of strong positions, and I I'm quite negationary. It's not the most inviting way of being, right? There's a reason why C.S. Joseph is much more successful than me as well. He shuts down like uh, genuine discursive work such that presumably it's a fairly conflict-free environment. Around here, if you say something wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong, and here's why. You know. Well, I'm not sure myself what type he is. And I think it's fair to say that none of us can know for sure what type he is without actually typing him. That's something he doesn't quite get, right? He thinks he can just type celebrities, type people on YouTube, and it's unmeaningful a meaningful thing to do without even offering caveats like I can't actually type the person without typing them. If you imagine, like among psychologists in the field of psychology slash psychiatry, there is a general prohibition on like offering your professional opinion about somebody on TV that you've not actually dealt with as a patient. And I'm not saying typology needs to adhere to as strict a principle of ethics, professional ethics, as somebody working in formally in psychology or psychiatry. But what I've learned over the years as a YouTuber is being a public voice, claiming expertise on stuff, saying words about people and things. Um, you're empowered more than you think you are. Or it's like I'm empowered more than I thought I was, right? Like just being a YouTuber made it such that when I broke up with my last girlfriend, I just sort of said on YouTube, I'm looking for a new girlfriend. And I had multiple candidates lined up immediately. It was crazy. It's not my experience in life. C.S. Joseph thinks that's the goal, right? That's my opinion. He's like, oh, this is fantastic. I can bang all these chicks. Um, you know, from what I can tell, he's hanging out with quite a young population of YouTubers, YouTube viewers or whatever, seekers of information about self. People who are inherently going to be more vulnerable to certain kinds of exploitation, be it monetary or otherwise. But most significantly, it's there's a responsibility if you're charging money to tell people what type they are, and you're charging a lot of money to tell people what type they are, you have a responsibility to provide the product they paid for. You know, it's fraud basically. Um, it there's no reason he has no reason to believe. No, he can present no case to defend that he is correct about anything in typology, or that his approach to typing people is reliable enough to. I don't know if he brags about it or not, but um, he's definitely taking a quote red pilled approach to gender relations. See, it's just oversimplifying everything. He's like, oh my God, you say the word I feel all the time. You must be a feeler. Oh my God, did you say I think? Yeah, definitely a strong TI thinker and INTP. Yeah, well, I mean, exactly. The thing is, people often use the word feel instead of think as a way of softening what they're saying. It may be indicative of any number of things not related to type. And the thing is, I don't know how much I say I think. I'm expressing thoughts, and people who are using introverted feeling also express thoughts. They express their feelings in words. And they might say, well, I think this is dumb. Well, what they mean is, I don't like this, right? But they're using different words. You have to be sophisticated in your analysis of people's language usage. Yeah. And Sean Lang points out the difference is TWFP. I'm confident you are a blank. C.S. Joseph, I know everything you are, have been, and should be. Exactly. So, it's like I don't position myself as a guru, right? Like as there's nothing cult leadery about me. I am definitely open and subject to ongoing questioning and critique. I answer all the questions people ask me. If I'm corrected about something, I acknowledge I was wrong and I stand corrected, and I I I adjust accordingly. I learn something from it. C.S. Joseph seems pathologically avoidant of learning anything about anything because the idea that he needs to learn something runs afoul of his idea of his positioning himself as some sort of infallible guru. Hey Eric, do you how do you socially engineer ISFP checks? Yeah, I do not know. I've never thought about those kind of questions, right? Those are, I think T is greater than F. He said SI is greater than SE. Purple pill, not red pill, so a mix of alpha and beta is needed. Is that what he said? I mean, the point is, avoid the pills entirely, right? Treat individuals like individual human beings and not like, um, and not like you need a strategy towards women that reduces them to, a mix of red pill and blue pill. It's like this whole idea that we should approach women and dating with something other than you are meeting an individual human being and there may be a connection there. And if so, great. Hi, Raphael. What's the topic? C.S. Joseph. Intelligence is someone who can admit when they're wrong and learn from it. The ultimate goal, is, at least as far as I'm concerned, is to be as right as possible. I agree with you. My age, my age, I think is 22. Should I fuck more and more women or not? Tell. Did you learn about life till now? I would say no, Brazilian speak. I would say no. Your goal should not be to bang a bunch of chicks. But that's my understanding of things, right? I'm an intuitive. I'm an intuitive with FI polar, which means I find things that require subjectivities and physicalities, SE, SI, TE, um, FI. I find those things scary, right? Intimidating. I'm what Taylor, an actual ESTP, would call puss shy. I look like Tom Cruise, huh? Thanks. Using MBI to manipulate people is gross. It should be used to understand yourself on a deeper level. Right. And additionally, to understand human consciousness in general, to have answers to the big philosophical questions. That's what I understand typology is most meaningfully applied for. It it's like we can wherever we encounter human dispute, we can generally see it as a frame clash, right? You could see this as a frame clash as well. Like C.S. Joseph's frame is very TE. It's very TEFI. It's self-interested. The the other people involved in this equation are people that he gets stuff from. Either money, affirmation, sex, whatever. I have encountered more than one woman come around here complaining about C.S. Joseph and his uh, behavior with women. I've had at least two come around here. And so, you know, there's also some kind of hypocrisy going on there in that from what I understand, uh, he's relevant enough and still around enough that I not very long ago, just a couple weeks ago, was shared a link to a live a timestamp bit of his live stream in which he was with some hanging out with some college kids or whatever, and one of them accused him of wanting to get on this underage chick, and he said no. And then the other guy kind of clarified that he had said he would wait until she was of age. Well, to me, that waiting until she's of age, that's fine. I mean, that's legal, etc. And you you can't accuse him of any kind of criminal activity or anything, but it seems to me exploitative and not cool, you know. Well, yeah, you know, the other week, I mean, the thing is, what prompted this morning was Hero Lamb yesterday relating uh, a rather disturbing story of somebody kind of being gang bullied in the C.S. Joseph forum or whatever, and it bothered me. I then recalled a link to a C.S. Joseph live stream um, put by Show Media that was timestamped, which showed a exchange between a young man and C.S. Joseph, in which the young man basically accused him of wanting to get on an underage girl and hanging out with her, and he said, "I would never do that." And I'm assuming, give him the benefit of the doubt there, that, and then the other guy said, "Well, you said you'd wait till she's of age." Well, you know, that makes it legal, but it makes me question whether perhaps there needs to be a sort of formal holding him to account as per this live stream. Uh, yes, I have a gun, Raphael. I have a rifle. It's cool. It's a cool rifle, actually. I like it. You can put a clip in it, in the bottom of it, so that when you pull the thing back, it shoots out the old bullet, and you push it back again, and it loads the new bullet automatically. It's cool. I like it. I'm not really that into guns, but I wanted that one because it's it's a it's a family heirloom kind of. It was in my dad's closet all the time when I was growing up. They're stacked with, leaning in the closet with ammunition stacked next to it. And I, of course, was just told not to play with it at all. And I didn't. I shot it one time when my parents weren't home. I shot it in the backyard. But um, but when he died, I told the estate sale people, I want that rifle if you can find it. And in fact, I got it back. They took it and we were going to sell it at the gun selling place or whatever, and I got it back. And I never used it until I moved up here. I live right near the National Forest up here. So I just drive my little wilderness car to the National Forest, and I put up a target. I shot at it, and I hit it from 50 yards and stuff or so. Yeah, it's a bolt action rifle. My wife's asleep. What are my thoughts on gun laws in America? I think that like laws that try to restrict people from having guns, they don't work, obviously, and and we should stop. We should stop blaming guns for things. How old was the kid? I mean, the thing is, what I'm saying is, I believe, based on that exchange, that C.S. Joseph is fine with sleeping with an 18-year-old college co-ed. Yeah, I would love to see Flow State have his gun rights reinstated. The fact that they are rights means, yes, you can forfeit some rights in case of a crime, but Taylor was not guilty of a crime involving a gun, so he should not lose his gun rights, obviously. And he wasn't guilty of a real crime at all, right? they just arrested him because they didn't like his habits. Fucking fascists. I hate, there are some people in life that I will never stop hating with all of my heart. Under Sheriff Barrett, Tracy Beverland. I hate them both with all of my heart. I just, they're such absolute fucking scumbags. If I ever encounter either of them in the world, like, let's say, we're going to have this vacation rental pretty soon. Unless something dramatic happens and we pull out at the last second of escrow or whatever, we're going to own this vacation rental soon. And I hope so much someday that Tracy Beverland stays at my vacation rental. I don't care if she gives me a 1-star rating or whatever. Raphael, it's perfectly fine for you to say, I don't need a gun, right? You don't get to decide for other people whether they want to have a gun or not. What I'm premeditating, if Tracy Beverland comes here, is I'm going to give her a tongue lashing like she's never encountered before. I'm going to teach her a thing or two about how to be a decent human being with my words. The only weapon I ever use is my words. Sure, I've taken the gun out and shot it in the wilderness. And I found that primarily boring. That's something I do on a regular basis. I'm glad to have a gun in the house. After all, I am a YouTuber. It's not that difficult to find my address, and plenty of people hate me so much. No, they don't get more money for being excessive. They're just a bunch of fucking fascists. I mean, and not all cops are bad, all right? I don't mean to be trashing the police entirely. They've gotten better since all that BLM stuff, But we have a great sheriff here in Mariposa County. He issued a public statement of opposition to California's like proposed or maybe new gun restrictions. Well, the sheriff in Mariposa County, we're talking about a different kind of beast, okay? Mariposa County has no municipalities, all right? We have no stoplights. We just have stop signs in the whole county, all right? It's very sparsely, it's low density population, a lot of rural activity, like farming and stuff going on. And basically, it's a very libertarian county. So we have a very libertarian sheriff. And we do need a sheriff because there are crimes that occur. Somebody the other night shot through the door of the Miners Inn bar. Rachel and I have eaten at the Miners Inn before. After getting kicked out of the bar. You need a sheriff to deal with that shit. You might successfully argue, Flow State, that the good people don't want to become cops, but even that, I'm not sure. I saw this bit: American cops throwing a cuffed person face first. All the comments were okay with it. I mean, I'm not okay with that. I believe that the police have a moral and professional responsibility to take somebody into custody and with as little physical force as possible. That's what the differentiation is between the good guys and the bad guys. Eric, what about racism in America? I don't think it's a problem at all. I think it's a non-story. Eric, what do you think about the notion of starter, finisher, in the background structure types? I've never heard those terms before. it's what you're doing there is whoever's doing that is saying, here's another way we can divide things into four. Well, you can divide things into four, but the proper division, if you're going to divide things into four, is knowers, actors, interfacers, and deliberators. But even so, you're putting together types that are sometimes quite different. You know, ENFPs and ESTPs are not very similar, but they're both action types. The thing is, I I'm not disputing that by being a police officer and taking on the job of enforcing the law, regardless of whether the law is just, you are abdicating your own moral responsibility for for upholding justice, regardless. You know, so that's a fair critique of the police, and at the same time, I acknowledge that we need the police. We need some kind of policing. I like the way we have it in Mariposa County. I like the fact that we have just the sheriff and a few sheriff's deputies, and that they seem to be responsive rather than proactive, which is what cops should be. So another big story, like because crimes and stuff are fairly infrequent compared to other places in Mariposa County, I know about them all. They all make the local paper, and I subscribe to the local paper. I have to because I can't access their online content without subscribing to it. Because I'm in Mariposa County, I also get the print edition, which I don't really want, but that's fine. Anyway, somebody down in Hornitos area, which is near Merced County, somebody shot at somebody else. The cops went to investigate, and the the person who had shot at somebody else was in this house. They went into the house. The guy escaped out a trapdoor, and they found a huge grow operation in there, plus a shit ton of guns. Well, the thing is, do I want the cops busting grow operations? Well, no, but that's not what they were doing, right? This fucker shot at somebody who was walking past his house because he's probably super paranoid or whatever. So the cops have to go deal with it. You know, is it the case that in America, guns are involved in various crimes? Yeah. So what? Get over it. We go to the we go to eat a lot at the Sportsman's Cafe. They have a sign up in there, which I fully appreciate. It says, firearms are welcome. If needed, good marksmanship is appreciated. Yeah, you can take your guns in there if you want. Obviously, I don't take my rifle with me anywhere. And I'm not interested in getting a handgun. It's like, well, why would I have one? What would I do with it? I don't even know what I would do with it. I just put it someplace, leave it loaded, and figure if somebody tries to break in, it's more efficient than getting out the 22 rifle. That's the only possible reason I would get a handgun. Certainly, I certainly wouldn't carry it around with me in a holster. I got to do that in Kansas. It wasn't even a holster. I had a gun in the waistband of my sweatpants. Running to the Walmart. Apparently got followed around by the security guy, who thought I looked a little suspicious. I probably did look a little suspicious. I had a broken shoe. I went in there to get flip flops. And I bought like stickers. Yeah, you can tell the difference between ESTPs and ENTPs by what Taylor and I bought at the at the Walmart. I bought like stickers and toys and stuff. And you bought like man stuff, you know. I thought it'd be fun to make stuff with these stickers. That's why. And, you know, it's like when I went to the supermarket the other day, Raphael, I know. I'm a sexy man. That's why I don't need That's why I don't need an OnlyFans channel. I already have plenty of pay pigs, as this one lady called them, sending me thousands of dollars a month so that I can tell them they're worms and stuff. So this one way you know I'm an ENTP and not an ESTP. I have a purse full of dolls. I recently bought this. This is my most recent acquisition. Ruby here. Now, if C.S. Joseph really wants to convince me he's an ESTP, I want to see his purse full of dolls. When I say, Eric, that doesn't make you an ESTP, that just makes you gay. Oh, it's not gay. How can we call it a man? You're gonna need to shut the fuck up. Thanks, Tiffany. You're right. Nobody could be cooler than you. Excuse me. You seem to have forgotten. It's Mindy's club, not Tiffany's club. Oh, that's your club out there. That's true. So, you know, prove to me you're an EGB. I have lots and lots of good reasons to conclude I'm no ESTP, right? Ask a real ESTP. Racial sentencing disparities, housing discriminations, those things don't occur randomly. Well, the problem with racial sentencing disparities is a genuine problem, but that stems from both. It stems almost exclusively from drug laws. So obviously, we need to get rid of punitive drug laws, and that'll solve the racial sentencing disparities. Housing discrimination, I don't really think that occurs very much, to be honest. So, I mean, I guess it might, but as somebody who. Do I have any Annabelle dolls? I don't. Livingston, hello. Eric, what do you think about Dario Nardi's work? I mean, I think if he was working in conjunction with me, he'd accomplish something maybe. But because he doesn't have the right understanding of functions, etc., then obviously somebody who understands things is going to have to process his data. Why does he have to have a bag of dolls anyways? He doesn't really. I'm just pointing out that I don't live in LA anymore. And I have this sense of, why am I doing his work for him, right? If someone's serious about typology doing anything, they should have, at this point, had plenty of opportunity to find me and recognize that I'm doing the only real defensible typological work in the world. If somebody's gone to all the trouble to pursue this thing and hasn't researched it enough to have encountered me and think seriously about what they're doing, they do not want in any way, shape, or form somebody coming in and saying, okay, you started from the wrong spot. Let's start this over. Or at least let's reevaluate all this data. You don't know what you're doing. I mean, nobody's going to be receptive to that, right? But that's what I have to tell him. It may not be that easy to find and your channel's a mess. Well, that's fine. My channel's a mess. But again, why am I doing other people's work for them? I'm doing my work here. Okay. My work is at the absolute front edge of typology, and it's the only truly defensible approach to typology. I'm doing that work. Why do I have to do other people's work for them as well? I shouldn't have to. What is your opinion on Harry from Cognitive Personality Theory? I don't have much of an opinion on him. I haven't watched much of his stuff. He seemed to do a good enough job with sort of intuiting part of things. Well, then you send it to him, Carlos. Be a team player. You do this great idea for me. I've had lots of people before suggest, hey, why don't you go talk to Meow Person and arrange an interview? The only person who has ever actually done that, well, there are a couple of people. Winston's mom did that and got me an interview with this guy, T Jump, who was clearly incredibly intimidated by me, etc. I don't know. I don't have that, Carlos Pereira. I have what I have. You've got your idea. If you want to implement it as best as you see it. You know, I mean, I would say send him the 8 pillars of typology, of defensible typology. That's the best introduction possible. If he doesn't find that, I don't know what that means, Raphael. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Which function do you think is the most misunderstood in the typing community? NI. That's an easy one to answer. NI is the hardest to explain and is the most difficult to understand. Many adults alive today were born into racial segregation. Many places that weren't formally segregated did practice housing discrimination, not allowing blacks to move in nice neighborhoods. Well, that's true. It's undoubtedly had negative impacts on blacks as a group. That's true. I understand you don't like to play the group game, but America has been playing it. Well, that's true. So let's stop. Why don't we stop with you stopping first? I've already stopped. I never did it in the first place. So, yeah, it's true that America has been groupist, racist, patriarchal, whatever. So let's stop. I'll treat you as an individual. You treat me as one. How about that? And how about we just continually do that with everybody? Vibes-based typing is accurate. INFP. SE users have tattoos. Well, so many people have tattoos. Almost everybody. I am blessed. My wife, my beautiful wife, Rachel, does not have a single tattoo. And the Naikas says, congratulations on getting out of the city. Let me say that up here somewhere. I enjoy the quiet to think. Big cities are overstimulating, in my opinion. I mean, I think when I was in LA, I had continual stress all the time just from driving. Just going places, waiting, having to wait for somebody to back out, pull in behind them. Every place you want to go, there's a line. It was just, and it was just so noisy. Like, I lived in a nice neighborhood in Arcadia, but there was always construction sound. There were gardeners doing leaf blowers. There was helicopters going overhead, fire engines. It was just awful. I was like literally in tears outside earlier as I was just looking at where I live now in this beautiful spot in this beautiful house. Made me very emotional. I had no choice but to say a little prayer of thanks to both of my parents, God, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost. He can steal them. That's fine. You know, I'm not complaining that C.S. Joseph uh, has used some of my ideas without crediting me. He should adopt what I'm doing entirely, and that would save the world a lot of pain and suffering. Where you live is one of the most important factors in determining your life path. Okay, so what's your advocacy here? That we treat everybody who's come from a bad neighborhood as a victim? Are you arguing in favor of reparations of some sort? I mean, there's inherently inequity in society. Okay, it's especially bad when it's concentrated the inequity in certain groups that are arbitrarily disadvantaged for reasons not linked to their character, right? Michelle says, I've noticed that you are always moving your leg with nervous energy. Anxiety, too much coffee, adrenaline. Just do it for tempo beat to thinking. Yeah, it's a lifelong habit. You can attribute it to whatever, but it happens all the time. We should measure IQ and distribute people based on that. No, we shouldn't. I have no advocacy other than disputing your claim that racism is not a problem in America. Well, I mean, you could say every expression of groupism still exists to some extent in America, and each of those expressions of groupism is equally bad. When I say racism isn't a problem in America, I'm saying it's among the various problems that America has. Racism is one of the least significant groupist problems that currently, contemporaneously, we have to deal with. Partisanship is a much more significant problem. So, groupism based on political affiliation is a vastly more significant problem than is racism. Individuals may be racist, and that may impact how they deal with other individuals, but so the sort of structural institutionalized racism that occurred in the 50s in the South and stuff, that's long gone. Sure, yeah, I did say initially, and I still say that racism's not a problem that we should be particularly focused on. I think it was still a big problem that we should have focused on before BLM. I don't like the fact that Black Lives Matter made it a race thing, but I'd been complaining about that for many years prior to BLM coming into existence. And I will credit BLM at least for getting rid of, um, largely eliminating the habit of police for feeling that just about anything justified them killing somebody and then they getting away with it, you know? So thank God for that, you know? At least now, if a cop shoots somebody, it's national news. Um, from those tired old eyes perspective, it looks like no baked cookies on a paper plate, and it's making me crave one. I could projecting a sweet tooth. My tired old eyes. Let's see here. Is type groupism? Well, what I would say about that is there is, I mean, it's just a continual flow of garbage is coming out of C.S. Joseph's misinformation factory. He doesn't know how to type people at all, but he believes he can type people in like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever. It's insane. And then he proceeds to irresponsibly tell them that he's got advice for them and that he can explain who they are and how they are to them based on his wrong typing. He has himself mistyped. And from what I can tell, is engaged in kind of a fundamentally groupist, uh, okay, not a groupist, kind of a fundamentally like culty, exploitative relationship with a very young population of adherents, you know. And I would call them adherents because he's not like he's engaging or encouraging people to engage intellectually and help him to refine his understanding of typology in any way, even if only by negating things that are wrong. I make that claim. Are those no bake cookies behind me? This? No, this is a plate of weed. That's my plate of shake. I know this isn't new, Hanko Flamo, and I clarified at the beginning that uh, the reason I was prompted to make this uh, video was really Hero Lamb's rather disturbing uh, description of a bullying event occurring in um, CS Justice Forum. And so that bothered me. And then additionally, Show Media put a link to a timestamp part of his live stream. A timestamp part of his live stream in which it seemed to indicate that he was spending time around very young community, college kids, and basically uh, taking full advantage of his dating capital to, you know, have sex with young co-eds, right? I I don't know this for fact. This is just my opinion. I'm speculating based on what I saw in that video. I don't want to be accused of slandering the guy. But it was enough to disturb me enough to that this morning I decided I was going to make a video uh, I think he's currently single. And I think he's got a couple of kids or whatever. All right, so let me go back up and answer some of these questions. Hero Lamb says, yes, he lied about not making money from his channel years ago. And Raphael says, Eric, are you right wing or left wing? I'm a correctist. I have the correct position on every political position. Told you I have tired old eyes. Oh, Michelle, you have tired. I have tired old eyes too. So it would have been a perfectly correct thing to say about me. Is Suzanne talking about moving? I don't think so. Enjoy your life, Eric. Okay. Okay, Raphael. Thanks. I will continue to enjoy my life. Are Susie and Suzanne saying? Yeah, I call her Susie, but I'm like, as far as I can tell, I'm pretty much the only one who calls her Susie. No, you right, OG. He egregiously mistypes people. It irks me so much. I agree, 5D coaching. And he doesn't just wantonly and irresponsibly mistype people without even gathering sufficient information to have an informed opinion about them, but then proceeds to tell them that he knows what they should do, how they should live, etc., who they are, how they are, whatever. And people are, you know, fragile, right? And they have a very emotionally charged link to their identity. So you'll note that even when I type policed Melissa Talks and said, I don't have enough evidence to arrest you here, but I don't think you're an ENTP, but it's possible you are, I guess. She freaked out, claimed that I had caused her to miss a week of work because she was so distraught over this, and I didn't even tell her she wasn't an ENTP. And look at the way that Club ENTP freaked out when I told him he wasn't an ENTP. He didn't like it at all. He had too much of his identity and stuff caught up in this mislabel of himself. So those are instances of people who subjectively decide what label they want to be and then fight against anybody who tells them otherwise. But there are plenty of other examples of people who are seeking truly to know better about themselves because maybe they're distant from the subjectivities, like an INFJ. Rachel didn't know what type she was until she got with me and I finally typed her INFJ, and it caused her a lot of distress. Like, she wanted to have clarity about what type she was. I didn't want to get coffee. I don't know why I didn't bring my coffee cup. So it's like, for people like that, if they're told in sort of an authoritative tone by somebody who at least would appear to be an authority on the subject, that they're meow, and that it means meow and meow, they're going to actually try to fit into that box. They're not going to. They're going to wonder what's going on with them. They're going to seek answers, and they're not going to get any from C.S. Joseph's community, because asking questions that call into doubt anything C.S. Joseph said immediately gets astroturfed. So, ought I make this video as a general condemnation of his wickedness? Yes, I should. Am I slightly concerned that I'm opening myself up to some kind of action? Yeah, I am, because in the past, C.S. Joseph gave me a strike for bullying. Granted, the language I used was uncivil, but my critique was totally legitimate. He was negating everything Taylor said based solely on the fact that Taylor had been arrested for something that wasn't even a crime, you know? Doing drugs is not a crime. So 5G Coaching says, I don't hate the guy and appreciate everyone's contribution, but he is really bad at fighting people. Right. Well, I mean, the thing is, that's not a contribution, right? It's like if you're digging a hole, everybody who digs some dirt out is contributing. He's putting dirt back into the hole. That's not a contribution. That's just muddying the waters for no reason. Do you have a book on typology? I don't, but I need to write one. Walling about something that currently is at least mostly solved is a victim position that perpetrates and manifests the reality you want to get away from. Right. So, in other words, I would never even consider what your race might be. I would never have an opinion on it in chat. Never even crossed my mind. But for you, I think, okay, I have an opinion about what your race might be. I don't want to. It doesn't matter what your race is. I don't give a fuck. But, you know, I just making me pay attention to the fact that you might be a different race already is divisive for no good reason. Oh no, I bet that hurt, Eric, for getting a copy of. Didn't hurt that badly. I do have that book on personality you can read that Winston's mom linked. It's not really a book, it's a compilation of tables and stuff. We still don't know the right label for me, but I am tentatively still going INTJ. Hanko Flamo, I'm leaning INTJ as well over ESFP. And that's somewhat predicated on your very correct telling me to get an external hard drive or whatever. Well, I mean, one thing that might make people think that diversity and inclusion Dan is your name, right? Diversity and inclusion Dan does seem to make it sound as though you're highly prioritizing identity stuff and inclusion of individuals from a variety of groups. And I agree that's a good thing, but it's a better thing um, to get rid of race entirely. Yes, I saw Sean Lang's question. Thank you. Um, he was going that way anyway. Yeah, mistyping is one of the main reasons people don't respect MBTI. It's a major problem. I think people should seek professional typing versus take one test. They say they mistype themselves and say MBTI is crap. Right. Well, and specifically, they should seek me to type them because I I am the most capable typologist. I do the most serious job. I'm typing by checking cognitive functions against tests that are relatively ungameable, which is the only thing in psychology that really provides that. And I'm giving you my honest assessment as to my level of certainty and what type you are and might be. And I will answer all questions. If you say like, well, I don't think I'm this type because of yeah, I will do more tests to verify this and say, well, okay, these tests reveal that no, that's not the case. And Eric, do you have a backup channel? Well, I've got Mindy's Club, but I haven't uploaded on there for a while. I started just uploading when I'm doing Mindy's Club shorts. I just upload them here now. I figured, why am I bothering with the second channel? Even though that channel was cool because it was all one thing, and I might go back to uploading to that channel. Mindy's Club is very worth checking out. If you've never encountered Mindy's Club, it's wonderful. Um, Eric, how about putting together a workbook with your test to sharpen your process and leave it for when you decide to stop the typing service? Just an idea. I mean, I can definitely compile like TI questions. I can compile a lot of questions, but the challenge is this: it still requires some intuition. I have to do follow questions because sometimes answers people give are misleading, and I have to, and depending on how they answer, I can sort of determine intuitively the likelihood of it being misleading and whether or not I need to ask a follow up question. I can't really script that out. Eric, I think you are seeing World War II. My name is ironic. I'm not a fan of DEI stuff. And I don't think it's a good idea to be dismissive about racism role in American society. Oh, this motherfucking country. Let's not lie or hide from the real stuff. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, diversity, Dan. We shouldn't lie or hide from the real stuff. We need to be informed by our past failures to uphold American values. So it's like, as I pointed out the other day, what we failed to learn from previous experiences where we thought emergency powers justified violating rights. Check out the Japanese internment. And and it's an example of how fear empowers idiots to do stupid ass shit. Just like with COVID. So Patrick J asks why he has no balls to even confront you at a debate or something. He definitely does not want to debate me. And I think the reason is fairly clear. If, in fact, he were to do so, I would expose his ignorance, lack of knowledge, failure to understand. I would just tear him to pieces, right? Because what does he have practice doing? He has practice doing the following thing. But C.S. Joseph, what about meow 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 meow? This doesn't seem to make sense. Well, read the author that I've read, meow meow meow, and then you'll understand. That's not going to fly if I'm actually questioning him in ways that require him to explain his knowledge and answer why questions, not just how, right? He can answer plenty of how questions, but not any why questions. In being a smartass, I have brothers blacker than the ace of spades who love swinging on the front porch with me. Instead of being the black sheep, I get to be the albino. How's that for unity? Um, Fine. That's fine for unity. He is wrong, manipulative, but not stupid. He won't willingly walk into his own demise. John Lang, I could not agree anymore with that sentence. Those two sentences. Diversity and inclusion, Dan, I want you to know you've won me over. I now respect the fact that you're engaging in the topic in a nuanced way, adequately nuanced way. And I no longer prematurely dismiss you as an ideologue. Congratulations. In fact, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Diversity and inclusion, Dan. I'm giving you a wonder point. That's one wonder point for you. It's not that easy to get a wonder point. That's the first wonder point I've given out all day. So it's not Wednesday, so wonder point values are not doubled. No, I don't think Taylor funneled the people here today. I think it's the topic that brought them in. And I am, in fact, trying to stay on topic here because I think it's an important topic. C.S. Joseph is not the only typologist spreading misinformation out there, but he offends me with his avoidance of any kind of language accountability. Like, I very much want to make a video in which he and I have a video conference debate about typology, and I have the opportunity to expose him for the fraud I believe him to be. But that will never happen. And I think that the fact that that will never happen is a pretty good indicator that we should conclude that he's incorrect as a default. If you will not defend your position statements, your advocacies, your explanation, then we should not afford it any legitimacy at all. Diversity and inclusion, Dan. You are a wonderful person. I used to say that a lot too. That's one of my favorite quotes. I used to say that a lot. I'd be like, don't get uppity, C.S. Joseph or whomever. Your little lungs is too small to hot box with God. Snappy. I like it. I like it. You're the only other person I've ever encountered to use that in the same way that I used it. It's one of my favorite rap lines of all time, too. For sure. It's fantastic. I also like that. There's kind of an equivalent feeling line, but like the beginning part of it is like, put down that badge and a gun, and now what? We'll go at it, punk, and I'ma fuck you up from NWA. Um, I think it's Ren who sings that one. There's another one in the Eminem song, not by Eminem though, but a different rapper. Let's see if we can find the lyrics to that one. I really like a lot as well. It's like, oh no, motherfucker, don't fuck with me. See, believe me, I'm leaving a carcass today, and I'm gonna park my car and walk the rest of the way. I'm in the mood to strut. My AK ain't even tucked. I'm gonna meet you at the club. We're gonna fuck these hoes up. I like that part. I'm in the mood to strut. My AK ain't even tucked. Meet you at the club and fuck those hoes up. What's my favorite weed strain? Actually, my favorite weed strain, I would say, is yeah, the way Ren says it. And we'll go at it, punk, and I'ma fuck you up. Yeah. That's one shot, two shot, yeah. That's my favorite part of it. The rapper who crashes his car and then gets out of the car, and yeah, it's great. Diversity and inclusion, Dan, you and I seem to have a similar taste in rap songs or something. If you ever debate him, your intro song should be I Don't Fuck With You by Big Sean. I'm not familiar with that one. But yeah, those all those things that you mentioned there are like I came up with a diss, but see, I'm not a gangster like those rappers, so my disses are a little more tame. But it's in the same kind of realm as this. My flakes are frosted, and your flakes are corn. All right, see you later, diversity and inclusion, Dan. Thanks for stopping by. I enjoyed you a lot. I like indica dominant usually. My very favorite strain is actually called Super Jack. It's a variety of Jack Herrera. It's a, you know, I guess more bred up kind um, of Jack Herrera. I really like Jack. Taste. It's got a very distinct taste. I also like Gorilla Glue number 4. It's good weed. A very unusual weed, right? I wonder if we could start to ascribe masculine and feminine attributes to the type. Fast forward to the he-she dilemma. Might be valuable information to note. You are the side of the mini wheats everyone hates. No, I don't think it's a good idea to do that. Um, Attribute masculine and feminine attributes to type. I think it's misleading, etc. And it's insulting to the various people. So if I were to do that, I would say ENTP is a feminine type, ESTP is a masculine type. So what am I saying? That my daughter's manly and I'm girly? I'm a little bit girly. I do play with dolls. Y'all play with me. I play with y'all. I found y'all. You're mine. Tiffany abides by the law of finders keepers. I found us. Now it belongs to me. But the point is, you think extroversion could be masculine and stepping out of the feminine inner? I mean, I don't think either of them are masculine or feminine. I think that it's silly to, it's not informative to talk about things in those terms. Because, first of all, you're just appealing to a commonality of women as sort of the softer, receiving side of humanity. You're just metaphoring out too much from reproductive differences. INTPs are INTPs whether they're chicks or dudes. ENTPs are ENTPs whether they're chicks or dudes. So you might say for Kay, gosh, she's kind of masculine because she's arguing with Eric so much. You might say with me, oh gosh, she's kind of feminine because he talks a lot and um, is emotional and plays with dolls and does a lot of and does a lot of girly stuff. I don't know. I don't really do a lot of girly stuff. I'm not really that girly, you know. But the point is, it's insulting to female INTPs to say they're masculine because they're thinking. Thinking is not manly or womanly. It's humanly. Elaine, my hope is that literal is literal darkness rather than figurative. You know there's that in there, Lou. You're missing a that. It needs to be my hope is that that is, which is it's strange to have to have is that that is in a sentence be correct, but that's what you needed there. Finders keepers. I vow curses work. Bow down peasants before my power. My infallible system. Yeah. Even if it's not infallible, the discussion of fallibility is entirely prohibited. Hey, everybody, stop discussing my fallibility. It is strange, though, that you can conceive of a sentence in English that's correct that has is that that is. That's weird, right? Well, it makes sense. I was unable to make sense of it until I read it carefully because it missed that. Um, it missed that extra that. Everybody being trans these days also illustrates why it could be helpful, not be helpful to assign gender to arbitrary things, countercultural stuff. Not the same thing, but there's something there. Right. And the point about identity is there are plenty of parts of identity that are fluid. Personality is not one of them. Masculinity, femininity is a fluid thing. At certain times, I behave in a more traditionally masculine way, and other times, behave in a more traditionally feminine way. It's not constant. I might have even more feminine stretches of months, and then more masculine stretches or whatever. To a certain extent, circumstances draw out testosterone as much as testosterone dictates circumstances. So the thing is, I do get that we can draw distinctions in the world and call certain things masculine or feminine, such as the feminine element is introvert, reflective, passive, receptive, harmonious, magnetizing, nurturing, emotional, structural, and restrictive. Um, okay, well, if we're going to call that feminine, okay. The masculine element is extrovert, expressive, active, explorative, chasing, leading, mental, initiative, and open. I mean, so if uh, if you were to describe those things like that, then everybody has both masculine elements and feminine elements, right? I have times of introversion, reflection, passivity, receptiveness, harmoniousness, magnetizing, nurturing. I am emotional, structural, and restrictive. Okay, well, I am all of those things that you put there, right? I'm extroverted, expressive, active, explorative, chasing, leading, mental, initiative, open, introverted, reflective, passive, receptive, harmonious, magnetizing, nurturing, emotional, structural, all of those things at different times. So that's what makes me wonder what the point of that is, in part. I know that you were looking to break down. Well, that's good. Glad to hear. I love that, Elaine. My name also refers to light, bringing light to darkness. Sorry, I wasn't clear in conveying my request. Oh, you know me. I start responding to things, and I don't even really keep that much track of what we were talking about exactly. Masculine and feminine way of behaving doesn't even exist, not for me anyway. There's a human way of acting. Yeah, well, I went to a tarot card reader one time at the Pomona Fair, and she was a good tarot card reader, okay? Because I was there with Kimberly, and we were either had gotten engaged or were going to. We talked to her about that, and her tarot reading was, "You're not going to get married," which we didn't. And it also said that in most of my past lives, I was a woman. And, that felt correct to me. I don't know. Does it mean anything? Not really. It's just NI stuff, right? It's holistic understandings of the self as carrying forward some residue of being from a previous incarnation of what is somehow the same soul. Does that is that something you can do intellectual work with at all? No. But Pat's Nation, you little plitterus. I'm a little plitterus? Okay. Uh is that worse than having a big clitoris? I'm not sure. I think little or big clitoris is fine. You know. I really like your name, Lou. This chat is so well lit right now. Well, yeah, Lou has brought light to the darkness. Prior to her arrival, nobody could see what anybody was saying because it was too dark to read the text. I was actually hopeful when I started this that I'd have some more people come in with specific stories about their experience with C.S. Joseph, either positive or negative, but I would assume more likely to be negative. Um, Give me a little bit more concrete examples to work with because I don't have a lot of concrete examples to work with. I just am motivated to make this. Well, there's a lot of specific subjective reasons why I'm making this. Like I had a strike for content critiquing C.S. Joseph. It lasted for years until it finally went away in December. And now it's February, and I'm tired of being uh, extra careful about it. I want to make this video basically saying, I he successfully silenced me for some time. I didn't want to get in trouble again, and I basically stayed away from the subject, not really consciously because I didn't want to get in trouble, maybe, but just feeling gun shy. And I was bothered by having that strike for years. It bothered me for years. So now that it's over, I I want to get back in the water, and I need to confirm that I've been in general doing a great job of practicing the habits of civil discourse and not putting myself at risk for any kind of a strike. But I guess my central thesis is here is okay, C.S. Joseph, you got me. I My critique was not civil before, and you successfully, with your TE approach, got a strike on me that lasted for years, potentially negatively impacting the channel for years. I'm not sure if that's the case or not, shadow banning or whatever. Winston's mom says, about 6 years ago, I saw C.S. Joseph talk about shaming INTJs. I left a comment and he replied standing by his statement that an INTJ should be shamed or blamed for their own good. You see, that kind of toxic message is horrible, right? And is misunderstanding the responsibility that comes with the weird power that comes with being a YouTuber. There was a time when I made like shitty, like edgy content about types occasionally too. Um, I hope I've taken it down almost all the instances of that, but I have a large library of content. But I've grown as a person by coming to understand the moral culpability of being a visible YouTube figure. Did I get to 9,000 subs? That's amazing. Huh. I didn't even see that. I wonder how that happened. I think I can thank Taylor for that probably. We're getting close to 10,000. I don't remember when I put the question. I'll have to check on the community page when it happened. But I did a poll that said, when will TWFP reach 10,000 subs? And like the choices were this year, next year, the year after that, never, or whatever. Well, I mean, that's what I'd expect from somebody who's very deserving of a full live stream critique, right? That Sean says CS Joseph isn't civil either. He just doesn't use name calling. It's a shame that discourse can't just be had without Big Brother YouTube stepping in at the click of a button. I don't blame YouTube for for nixing the video that they nixed of mine because in fact cross the line of their new rules. But their rules had just changed, and being a dumbass, I didn't really believe the new rules until I had it enforced against me. So uh, there was a sea change around YouTube some time back where they basically said, okay, no more toxic bullshit. And I had been in the habit of periodically producing toxic, not bullshit, but still toxic in its overall tone and approach. Um, but the thing is, in order for me to get hit with a bullying strike, he had to accuse me of bullying him. I find that ridiculous because he's he has many more subs than I do, right? The boobs gate was my fave. But this and his quadravids is maddening. I don't know what his quadravids are. What's boobs gate? He's Who's Steve Judd? I don't know who Steve Judd is. I know if it's Taylor, but some people over there whack that. Well, Taylor has, he's got a panel full of people who want to be on his panel, who have opinions about things, want to talk about things, feel as though others need to hear what they say, and you're gonna get a mix of stuff accordingly. I don't know who Steve Judd is. I don't know who the he you're referring to, what you're referring to there is. Probably INFP guy, old British fan, decades of experience. Thank you kindly, hero. Good night from Indonesia. Good night, Indonesia. My mom calls periods of insight such as this in entering the age of knowledge. We move into them through stages. That's a nice expression, entering the age of knowledge. We are, in fact, entering the age of knowledge. I've described it before as we are our digital adolescence still. Jonathan Basanti, your arrival is what caused me to completely lose my train of thought. Hello, welcome. Boobs terrify some people. Certain wrongnesses are evil. Who said that? Did I say that? I don't remember ever saying that. I mean, I do believe certain wrongnesses are evil, and I do believe that boobs terrify some people, but I don't remember saying that. Maybe I did. Um, how's it going, Basanti? How are you? And are you enjoying your life? So I'm procrastinating as a mofo from painting up my face, mustering some energy to get out the door to play with my grandbabies. They run circles around me. Do you really have to put makeup on to play with children? Boobs look comfortable. I want to know what this boob gate is. What is it referring to? I'm very interested. Sure, yeah. Let's do it, Jonathan. Sean Lang says, I still watch Frank James just for entertainment and a laugh, but he was very come for knowledge. It's also entertaining. I try to be entertaining, somewhat at least. Um, Boobs look comfortable. Well, I wonder if they're comfortable for people who have them. You know, they're obviously comfortable for me to lie on or something. Things and stuff are happening. Well, good for you. I'm glad things and stuff are happening. Not a ton of things and stuff are happening around here, but one thing that happened, as I mentioned, is my strike again for bullying C.S. Joseph. I got rid of it in December. That may play a factor in why I've decided to provide this general critique of him and his ways in this video, in what I hope is a very civil fashion, without any name calling, and I hope can only be construed as a legitimate critique for good reasons of what's fundamentally exploitative behavior on his part. So, you know, will C.S. Joseph respond to this? No, probably not. Hero Lamb says he's a hypocrite on that tip because he really does bully people. Yeah. Well, I don't think that he's particularly receptive to constructive criticism. Let's put it that way. And given the amount of sort of authority on the subject he claims or positions himself to have, there seemed to be, to me, that he has some responsibility to be open to hearing criticism and to being corrected, you know? I've never encountered instances of that. That doesn't mean they don't exist. Perhaps sometimes he welcomes criticism and concedes that he's wrong about things, corrects himself, etc. If somebody were to find an instance like that, I would love for them to prove me wrong, so to speak. I really dislike him. He seems to have something against INFJs. I've heard it, a lot of people say he seems to have something against a variety of types. But I remind everybody that given that he thinks he's an ENTP, if he's building his understanding of typology against that, that people who are just like him are ENTPs, well, and, you know, extrapolating therefrom, ergo, people who are, you know, TINE expressions of NTPness or INTPs, etc., then whatever type he's talking shit about is not the type he means. One could do kind of some math to figure out, like, okay, let's say he's an ENTJ. I believe C.S. Joseph is a TE Dom. I don't know what type he is. Obviously, I haven't typed him. And we can say, well, therefore, he thinks TE is NE, NI is TI, SE is FE, and FI is SI. And then we could, based on those, we could conclude what he thinks the other things are and figure out what each type is based on extrapolating from C.S. Joseph's wrong typing of himself, given that he's an ENTJ. We can make a C.S. Joseph conversion chart. I think that's a good idea. I think maybe I'll make that chart, and then we can make it for ENTJ, we can make it for ESTJ. He's almost certainly a TEDOM, so, you know, that could inform you that if he told you you're an ISTP and he's consistent with his understanding of typology, then he's saying you're a meow. If he's right about you, you're a meow. That would be a fun video to make. I might make that video. C.S. Joseph type conversion chart. As a woman, I enjoy playing dress up lol. It's leaving the house that I'm resisting, and it keeps persisting. Well, that's because the house is structurally designed to be the place where you have all your comfortable things that you like. I'm quite pleased to see that if I talk about a topic everybody's interested in, like, you know, YouTube beef kind of stuff, at least, that I can draw 24 people here, and that's pretty good. Of course, I'm not sure I could do it consistently because I'd have to come up with a lot of juicy topics like this, and I don't really come up with topics, you know. I make what I feel like making. I woke up this morning feeling mad about C.S. Joseph. Not really waking up mad, but thinking about how confluence of things makes it such that I should make an uploaded video that critiques C.S. Joseph. Then, of course, I decided to just live stream on the subject. That could play out as one of two ways. It could allow me to distill all my thoughts such that when I go to make an uploaded video about the subject, it's a nice NI package of a set of ideas that I've explained several times here, right? Or it could play out like, I don't know, I no longer have the urge to make a video about the subject because I've already shot my load on the subject, and then I just don't upload anything. We'll see. It's snowing-ish. It's sort of snowing. Sort of raining, sort of snowing. This is like snaying. I call this snaying. It's snaying outside. Or it's rowing, but I think snaying is a better word. Can you see the snaying that's falling down? It's looking increasingly snow-like. So when it hits the ground, it looks like rain. Well, whatever it is, it's made out of water. It was born water, and it shall return to being water. I'm very happy that we're getting all this precipitation. Not last night, but the night before, it rained really hard all night long. And that's good. Now we're getting nice, steady rain. I'm sorry, birds. We'll go to the store today. We'll get you more cutlets. I just had to, throw the gauntlet down. Okay? I'm not bullying you, C.S. Joseph. I am offering totally legitimate critique of what I see is a fundamentally exploitative enterprise and a misinformation factory called your channel and your community that I don't believe you treat as with respect as individuals, because I don't believe you allow adequate pushback. I don't believe you answer people's questions adequately. I don't believe you take on the responsibility appropriate for the amount of power that maybe we as YouTubers should not have, but that even I, as a channel much smaller than yours, enjoy slash carry. It's a responsibility you carry to be ethical in your dealings with people, not just see them as cash cows and or other possible things you might find them useful for. Especially if your audience is on the younger side. I suspect for YouTube, my audience is on the older side, but still falls plenty of young people. I don't, of course, note or pay attention to people's age because I deal with people in this capacity almost exclusively in the chat. And unless they tell me their age, I don't know what it is. If they do tell me their age, I immediately forget it because I don't think and care about things like that. I try to treat everybody the same. However, it nevertheless remains the case that you've got a younger demographic. I think you've got more of a responsibility to to not to not just spew random bullshit, right? He's a former. See, nice ASMR there with the snane. Yeah. All tests are wrong. Take my test, then pay me $75 for a PDF. Yeah, right. I mean, you can't. It's not possible yet. It may someday be possible. It's not possible yet to type somebody without having a conversation, extended conversation with them, in which you ask them a lot of questions. And it's not possible to type somebody well unless you have some of those questions at least are testing directly skills that link to specific cognitive functions, tests that cannot be gamed by what a person would like to be. Snane, yes. Snane is half snow, half rain. It's called vertigo when it doesn't hit the ground. Howdy, DeFreak. We were discussing a typology person, C.S. Joseph, and now host Eric is working on the Snane. You're scared of getting wet? That's bad for your relationship. I dislike umbrellas, Lou says. I also dislike umbrellas. C.S. Joseph, I can see being appealing to an INFP, being told something's wrong with you is weirdly reassuring, even if it's not true. It does give you something to work on, I guess. Carlos Paeva is showing some SE here and following through on what he says. Hello, I was wondering if you ever heard of Eric Strauss. He's a former debate coach who's been doing independent research on cognitive function theory, developed his own theory on the matter, and uses his YouTube channel to present ideas. What makes him different is that due to his background, he pays special attention to having correct definitions and a consistent defensible theory, and has developed tests based on skills that he's observed correlate certain cognitive function preferences to go well beyond self-reporting. He relaxed the neuroscience part of the equation, which is your main focus, meaning both of your approaches complement each other well. Here is an introduction to the great pillar of defensible typology. And differences video, ENFP versus IHP type decision. Yeah, that looks great, Carlos. That's great. I will be shocked if it produces any results, but I appreciate your effort. You can't expect any seed to sprout if you don't strew a few of them, right? So thank you. That's wonderful. I watched the first one. I have no words for that. Total productive maintenance, or TPM, is a lean maintenance strategy that aims for zero breakdowns, zero defects, zero work accidents. Why abuse yourself like that watching C.S. Joseph? I'm not, and that's the other thing here is I'm making this video without having watched a lot of this stuff. I've watched some of it. And I've heard, a lot of what I'm doing here is based on hearsay. Some of it based on links that people have put here to show me specific things, um, but what I'm expressing here is my intuitive opinion based on a lot of different specific things that C.S. Joseph is doing harm with his YouTube channel, that he is spreading misinformation and fundamentally, accordingly, exploiting people. If it's the same thing as a faith healer charging a terminally ill cancer patient $10,000 for aromatherapy and laying hands, which is not going to work, and it's just preying off the desperation of somebody who wants badly to know something, you know? Well, Jonathan Basanti, you can spam as many hearts as you want. It just makes me feel as though it's Valentine's Day. He gives off the vibe of the Andrew Tate of typology. I've heard people reference Andrew Tate before, and from what I understand, Andrew Tate is kind of a red pilly douche, but I've never actually watched any of Andrew Tate's stuff, so I'm not sure from personal experience what he's like. Regardless, I don't think it's a good idea for people to think of other people as stuff to manipulate, use, correct, exploit, whatever. It's fundamentally wrong. Eric, I think you should watch more of them if you want to meaningfully critique and pinpoint the wrongs and and inconsistencies. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Elaine. I should watch more of him if I want to meaningfully critique and pinpoint the wrongs and inconsistencies. Uh, and so that's why I'm couching all my critiques here with these caveats. If I were to have watched more, I'd have a lot more to say about it. But I guess I didn't want to put myself through that. uh, yeah, what I should do is like watch some of his videos, flow it around. In this instance, I started this stream with this title in the hopes that I'd have people come in and provide me their own examples in part because I don't have a lot of examples, but I have heard plenty of things from plenty of people, right? So it's hearsay. That doesn't mean it's wrong. All right. Well, why don't you fill us in, Elaine, on what is I know some of it, a little bit, like the interaction styles, right? I know about the four sides of the mind. I know about the being in one's shadow functions, bullshit. I mean, none of those things are predicated on any mechanical understanding of paying attention, right? It's not like he's talking about how one pays attention when he's introducing any of those ideas. I've heard plenty of quotes before, people saying, C.S. Joseph says NI is meow, 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 and it's completely fucking wrong. But I don't have those quotes at hand. And if I wanted to do a serious rebuttal of the guy, I'd need to watch videos and flow them. Write down all his claims, warrants, impacts. And then go down and say this is bullshit because miggity maggity mew. I could do that right now, okay? But of course, he'd probably copyright strike me, right? So you can get the transcript of it, right? You can download the transcript of videos. Then I wouldn't have to watch it. I just have to read it. That'd be good. That'd be a good way to do it. All right. Well, I'm running out of gas here on this topic and stream. Yesterday I streamed for way too long. I don't want to do this. I want to get some other things done. So, um, he has NI as willpower in a single word definition. NI is willpower. Oh my God. You know, my wife's an NI dom, and you could say plenty of things about her. A lot of words might come to mind, a lot of wonderful words. Willpower is not one of them. Willpower is definitely not. All right, I'll give you a few minutes. Well, let Elaine provide some specific things that I can respond to. And that'll help if I do end up making an uploaded video as well. I have specific things I can respond to. Isn't commentary allowed? I don't know how it works, but I've definitely seen other streamers show vids and comment on them. Maybe, but the thing is, ultimately, when you're dealing with stuff like that, the most important factor is not what you're doing, but who you're dealing with. If you're dealing with a spiteful person who's going to try to use every tool YouTube has at their disposal to get me punished or silenced in some way, then you're gonna get involved in some kind of a battle, possibly. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to take any risks. I mean, I could put it on in the background and read it out loud, put it on mute, read it, and comment like that. That wouldn't be a problem. Let me see. I'll do that. All right, so now we're going to put on some C.S. Joseph video in the background. You're not going to see it. I'm not going to put it on sound. I'm going to put it on mute. And I will read it, what he's saying, and I will explain why it's bullshit. This is, of course, going to mean I'm going to get recommended C.S. Joseph videos now, but whatevs. What a big smile you have. He's got 63,000 subscribers. What are God functions? Season 18, cognitive function mechanics email lectures. All right, let's watch this one. We're going to mute it. We're going to put on the captions. We're going to be discussing the God functions and cognitive origins. Again, this is season 18, cognitive mechanics. And we only make it available to journeyman members, but every time we release a new episode, one in the future, maybe I don't know of it, will. He's talking about the access to this video, I guess. So go over all the fundamentals of the science of whatever. Let's see. Okay, so far he hasn't said anything except what he's going to do, which is, and the schedule for these videos, how to access them as a member, etc. Premium lectures will be uploaded soon. Thank you for your patience, blah, 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 blah. We're 2 minutes in and he hasn't said a goddamn thing yet. We're getting the basic parts. He's just continuing to say how he breaks them down to the deepest level and you zoom in from macro to micro. He's still sort of selling a PDF you can download, I think. God function works with being that the four temples actually primarily pay attention. The whole point behind them is, welcome Jason to the show. From the God functions, the unifying layers, origin is the four sides of the mind. So the God functions, at the end of the day, the root of our psyche, and they are absolutely our God functions, make up everything. So eight God functions govern one cognitive origin. Look at the individual temples. God functions as the soul temple. They are extroverted intuition and introverted feeling. Okay, the introverted feeling is attached to the cognitive origin of justification. Hold on, I'm going too fast now. So if you're remember the soul temple, which means ESTP, ISTJ, ENFP, INFJ. One of those four types, basically, you really care about introverted feeling. You really care about extroverted intuition. It doesn't matter if you have extroverted intuition or introverted feeling in your top four slots. Okay, like yeah, ISTJs and ENFPs definitely have those in their top four slots, but ESTPs and INFJs have them in their bottom slots. They still represent the soul temple. They still care about being a good person with the FI God function. They still care about being desirable with exert extrovert intuition, even though ESTP has extroverted intuition demon, is still a very high priority to the ESTP to be as desirable as possible, especially if they're UDUF. Okay. So why? So for example, my explanation about extroverted intuition and introverted feeling as values says it explains how the value for each function is determined by the slot. That the odd values are absolute values, the even are instrumental. To fail to distinguish between absolute and instrumental values is to not understand how valuing things work, right? It's either a mean, you value it as a means or value it as an end, or potentially countervalue it. So he's got ISTJs there who've got any fourth, treating any as an absolute value. ESTPs, any eighth, treating any as an absolute value. And also he has on there ENFPs, any one, and INFJs, any five, treating any as an absolute value. Okay, so two of them do treat it as an absolute value, two definitely don't. He doesn't explain why at all he's got them grouped like this, except to say they're from the same cognitive origin, which is intimacy and or whatever else. That's not a mechanics, right? You need to explain why it's a certain way, not just say it is that way and use all these metaphors, soul temple, whatever, cognitive origin. If he's talking about what, let's say, the core value is, first of all, to have like a cognitive origin explication like that, you need to have a prime directive that it makes sense in relation to. I express cognitive function configurations as strategies towards attaining a universal prime directive of closing the gap between expectations and realities. This makes sense, right? What he's saying makes no fucking sense. And it's just a bunch of metaphor and then selling shit. There's no reason to understand it that way that's backed up by data, right? He doesn't have a huge pile of data of people actually being typed by him because he types people so quickly based on so little shit, right? And his lecture, if you were to ask him, say, explain the commonality of value between ISTJ and, say, INFJ, he would say they have a common relationship with FI, except INFJs have a countervalued FI, and ISTJs have it in the third slot. So it's incredibly wrong. Incredibly, incredibly wrong. Horrible. It's like The reason I attributed the value matrix the way I have, the reason I laid it out the way I have, is because I've checked with a bunch of value questions, a bunch of people against also function questions to cross verify things, you know? I have mountains of data in which the mechanics I'm expressing as the mechanics of cognitive functions link directly to the testing that I'm doing. So he's saying a bunch of shit about how all those types really care about people. Well, who doesn't really care about people? From what I can tell, he doesn't, but I don't think that because of his type, right? I don't think that's a type thing. Just sprinkling now. We got a very misty mountain breakdown up there on the mountainside. See if I can show it to you. Misty Mountain Breakdown. Look at me. I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. And I feel like I'm floating on a cloud. I can't understand. I get misty just holding your hand. Walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play. Or it might be the sound of your hello. The music I hear, I get misty the moment you're near. You can say that you're leading me on, but that's just what I want you to do. You can see that I'm hopelessly lost. That's why I am following you. On my own, would I wander through this wonderland alone? Never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove. I'm too misty and too much in love. And that was Misty, written by famous jazz pianist Earl Garner. A song not so much about mist as it is about a lady whose name is Misty and who makes him feel all those things in the song. I don't know if you know what the lyrics to it or not, but hope that made you feel misty as well. As misty as Mr. Fister in the misting machine. I should say pretty darn misty. Okay, I think before I end the stream, I actually am going to play a song or two on the guitar. I know. I'm sure plenty of you say, Eric, we don't want you to do that. That's boring. That's how you ruin a party. Hey, everybody want to listen to me play the guitar? I know. It's socially awkward. I get it if you leave. Nobody wants to hear Guitar Boy with his songs about peace and freedom. I don't think I really have a lot of songs about peace and freedom. Alright. So it sounds like it's been 10. I'm going to see if I do, in fact, have Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze memorized, like I believe I do now. Oh, well, he's Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, the friendliest guy that you will see. Yes, he wants to be your friend, but he comes from around the bend, and it will be a while till he sees you again. He's Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, he's a friend to you and me. He's international, the life's favorite go-to right-hand guy. He's international like him and also busy like his friend the beaver bee. Busiest creature, busy as a bee, busy as a beaver, and so much busier than Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze. Well, he's Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-da-ba-ba-doo-da. Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-day. Yes, he's Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-da-ba-ba-doo-da. Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, shabba-doo-ba-day. And if you go to visit him for starts, remember to bring something sour or tart. He's not a fan. Fucking how? I don't remember it. To visit him for starts, remember to bring something sour or tart. Sour or tart. He's not. Fucking how? Sugary treats, that's why he's Pucker Tart and not Pucker Sweet. You go to visit him for starts, remember to bring something sour or tart. He's not a fan of sugary treats because he's Pucker Tart and not Pucker Sweet. Well, he's Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze, the friendliest guy that you will see. Yes, he wants to be your friend, but he comes from around the bend, so it will be a while till he sees you again. Pucker Tart. Well, obviously, I didn't have it memorized. I had it memorized, but I forgot it again. So, that's life in the big city. Like, I want to play another song now that I don't think I quite have memorized, but maybe I do. We'll see. He's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking in the drive, He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them. But every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied the chance to yell at them. Now he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets, when walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise. He hates the lies, wants to confront the men, always telling them. But every time he tries, they only run and hide. Again he is denied the chance to yell at them. But then the bridge brings a new approach. Sneakily he'll try to encroach up on the guilty then. Have to get the chance to yell at them. And now he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets, by walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise. Well, obviously, I need to work on that one too. That's why I played both those, because I don't really have them memorized, and I should. If I had those memorized, I almost have them memorized. Then I'll have a bigger repertoire of things I can play without opening a document up. Good enough. Every life lived reaches a time when the road splits in two. There are times, dark times, times of despair, times when it's hard to feel good. That's when I look for my sack full of solvency and that satchel of helpful goods. 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 Every life lived reaches a time when the road comes to an end. When I'm there, will there be anybody else around? Or will I travel all alone? That's when I look for my sack full of solvency and a satchel filled up with harm. Yeah, that satchel, now nothing but bone. Satchel of helpful goods. 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 That felt nice. I like playing things that feel nice to play. It feels like a warm feeling in my body. Oh, what do I want to play? When I was younger, it seems that everything gleamed. I don't know what happened to me, but I've lost that sense of urgency, and I don't think that I'll ever see it again. If you follow my lead, you'll discover I'm loster than you, and you'll want want to know the way to get back out to wherever it was you thought you knew. And tomorrow will be just like today. I'll be lost then too. It's a matter of mood as much as a matter of will. And the things I do and the direction I point to still seem a part of me, though departedly. And I wonder if I'll ever see them again. Buddy da 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 dee bow down and on. Buddy da 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 dee ba na na na. That felt good too. Felt like a wonderful feeling of goodness in my heart. Ah, feels nice to do nice things that feel nice. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles, and today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles, cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. Life can strangely be forgiving. Stay awake all night, and mostly voices say to give in. They'll try to sap your will to fight. But whether I'm supposed to be here or just be soon forgotten, noise is sort of based on what I see here, and also on what I avoid. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles, and today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles, cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say, something to say. Thanks, darling. Feeling really good to play this music right now.
You sound great.
Giving me the goosebumps just to play songs. Like, it feels so nice. It feels like the tenderness of wonder in my heart. Yes, my darling dear?
I have a question.
My dear darling pants dear?
I'm sorry, it's not music related.
It was fine. What is it?
does the water need did the pilot light go off through the water?
Why is it not getting hot?
No.
Okay, I'll have to check it. Give me a bit.
Yeah, of course. I just wanted to bring it to your attention, that's all.
Like I went out there and lit the pilot light. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he turned it off.
Oh, maybe.
It's possible.
I'm gonna check the bathroom. I'll be back.
It was 100,000 million years ago. Time ran slow. Nobody yet to show. Place the slabs below. Let them grow. They will start to show. More years ensue. Tears gnashing through. Holy slabs come to view. Unchangingly true. Eternally new. But when the slope up is in charge today, options at large show other ways. If by the chance one wants quick to check, but don't get caught standing on deck. The slope presents a fork. It's not easy stopping short. Too far along to turn around. Perhaps the better course was headed ever north. Now there's a fitter force. Enemy ground, enemy ground. Was 100,000 million years ago. Time ran slow. Nobody yet to show. Place the slabs below. Let them go. They will start to grow. More years ensue and tears gnashing through. Holy slabs come to view. Unchangingly true. Eternally new. But when the slope up is in charge today, options at large show other ways. Give each a chance now. Once quick to check, but don't get caught standing on deck. The slope presents a fork. It's not easy stopping short. Too far along to turn around. Perhaps a better course was headed ever north. Now there's a fitter force. Enemy ground, enemy ground. Thanks. Not working in the other places either.
What?
It's not working in the other places
No.
either. I will check it in a bit.
Sure. You're getting so many hearts. It's such a love fest.
Not sure I would really call it that, but
It's just people are loving your stuff.
wonderful, wonderful kitty, having wonderful times. Always cleaning yourself, making sure you've got clean lines. A wonderful, wonderful kitty, such a fabulous offering. And now it's wonderful kitty bedding time again. Just let me pet you, don't walk away. It's bedding time, and a wonderful, wonderful kitty, having wonderful times. Always cleaning yourself, making sure you got clean lines. But your wonderful kitty is a fabulousness I've never encountered before. And I know that I want to pet my kitty some more. Just let me pet you. Don't walk away. It's petting time. Hooray!
That was so good.
Thanks, darling. No good comes from skating on with them whom you've mistaken for the one. I bet you had it through the fire. No good comes from skating on with them whom you've mistaken for the one. I bet you a defense and a decency, has to bit and effectually once you start you done. Driving in the car last night, we had a massive fight. Each insisting we were right and the other one to blame. So when you pulled that stunt, I screamed something awfully blunt. My words were as wrong as they were dumb, and I burned my share of shame. It's each of our own failings, not us doing the nailing to the wall. We fear so the others sailing off to reset their life and all. You can trust me, I can trust you though. Neither trust ourselves much true though. Yeah, like between you and me, at least about that we can both agree. Driving in the car last night, we had a massive fight. Each insisting we were right and the other one to blame. So when you pulled that stunt, I screamed something awfully blunt. My words were as wrong as they were dumb, and I burned my share of shame. My share of shame. Well, that was pretty sloppy, but it was just fine, you know. I like the speed of it. It's better when it's played a little quicker, I think. We need to know. We need to see. We need to hear happening down by our means to judge. A logic to life, we devise every unliking for which will rarely budge. People everywhere gather up enemies, outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities, ensuing heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, and desiree, we stuck with such petty larceny. We all partition in victories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Judy shares now her limits. Hoping Julie will too. Jerry shares for 4 minutes. We just can't share things like they do. Julie always thought that she should have bought two when she had the chance to buy. Julie soon forgot about should and ought, although she ought recall she'll die. People everywhere gather up enemies, outraged at how they miss a sign. How do they set their priorities? These foreign backstabbing entities, ensuing heartache and misery follow necessarily from their savage ways. Insulting, cursing, desiree, we're stuck with such petty larceny. We all partition in victories and call it destruction of the whole damn world. Ah, boom. That was pretty fast. A little too fast, but
Sounds good. I really would like to practice with you.
I would like that too. You could try on this one, or you just want to try to do the background vocals of the chorus, especially.
Do you mind if I sit from here? Or
That's fine.
Oh, where are we? Okay.
So let's practice the chorus first before we go through the whole thing. So I'll go.
Okay.
Hostility is kept at bay. Hostility is kept at bay by what you think is in the way.
By what you think is in the way
Of life as children of the land. With Bengali weatherman. One more time through. Hostility is kept at bay.
Hostility is kept at bay
By what you think is in the way.
by what you think is in the way
Of life as children of the land. With Bengali weatherman. Right. Alright, so we're going to try it. Is this one? Let's see. I do need that tough. Okay, I have to make this smaller. Or full screen it. Okay, I'll make it a little smaller. 75%. View full screen. There we go. All right. You're living on a time frame I will never know. Alienation and humanity's soul. Imagine you a future after the collapse, returning to the urgency of isolated past. You're picturing community free of metaphysics while you're hunting buffalo and you're picking red delicious. Knowledge of the seasons, wisdoms of old. Fires blazing in the night to keep away the cold. Hostility is kept at bay.
Hostility is kept at bay
By what you think is in the way.
by what you think is in the way
Of life as children of the land. With an agave weatherman. Imagining a history that never could have been. You lecture at the college, advancement is a sin. Lamenting disconnection and every corporate act. Asserting all your feelings and ignoring all the facts. Hostility is kept at bay.
Hostility is kept at bay
By what you think is in the way.
by what you think is in the way
Of life as children of the land. With an agave weatherman. You find modernity just so banal. Wish you had been born in time, but now. And your experience won't run afoul of exceptions you might allow. You visualize nobility sipping on some port, or tribes of peaceful savages in beautiful comport. But few of history's people ever thusly did cavort, 'cause life was solitary, nasty, brutish, poor, and short. Hostility is kept at bay
Hostility is kept at bay
by what you think is in the way.
by
What you think is in
the way
of life as children of the land. With an agave weatherman. Let's go through the chorus one more time.
Okay.
Hostility is kept at bay
Hostility is kept at bay
by what you think is in the way.
by what you think is in the way
Of life as children of the land. With an agave weatherman. With an agave weatherman. Sounds great. You know what I like is that you have trouble getting the first bit of it, and you've got trouble getting this in general, and yet it's super intuitive call and response melody. that means it's good. It's hard to get, but it resonates as correct right away. Like,
I can, yes, I can
hostility
detect.
is kept at bay. Hostility is kept at bay by what you think is in the way. By what you think is in the way of life as children. It's very intuitive, but
Yeah.
you don't necessarily can't figure it out right away. That's a good sign.
You know me. I get better with practice.
You definitely do. But I also know the way that certain melody lines work. If it's truly good, it'll both be exactly one thing, and then kind of hard to nail down at first because it's
Yeah, it is because it's good.
yeah.
Because it's not
I
simple.
like that. Yeah. Do you want to try to do Cloudy Day?
Yeah, sure.
Or do you want to? I can come over there for you for that, so you get your voice more in it.
Oh.
You don't necessarily have to be on the camera the whole way. It's good for your voices.
Okay.
How about that? If you don't feel like being on camera.
Sure.
All right, we're gonna play Cloudy Day this time with Rachel singing as it should be performed.
Okay. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Troubles past, struggles still to come. The day is nearly done. Could someone buy us some more time?
Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. Life can strangely be forgiving
To those who stay awake all night.
and mostly voices say forgiving. They try to stop your will to fight. But whether I'm supposed to be here or just be soon forgotten, noise is sort of based on what I see, hear, and also on what I avoid.
It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we hope for more time. Troubles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Someone buy us some more time.
Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say.
Something to say.
Good job.
Thanks. You
Nicely
did a great
done,
job
Rachel.
too.
Turn this.
It really is such a nice guitar.
I mean, I feel like reborn as a guitar player.
Because of it?
Yeah, like I feel. I don't know when it happened, but it coincided sometime with the arrival of this guitar. I became a much better guitar player than I used to be. Like, I'm making more decisions.
Is it because it sounds so good? Like you want it to.
Well, I think I can play things easily enough on this guitar that I couldn't very easily play on
Oh.
on the acoustic is part of it, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Do you want to sing Gregory in Disguise?
Sure, I don't know if I remember all the lyrics, but I'm sure I'll try as I
We'll
go.
just sing together for as much as you remember, okay?
Okay. He's Gregory.
Gregory. Okay. He's Gregory. In disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive. Averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory. In disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive. Averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory. In disguise.
He hates the wise. Wants to confront the men. Always telling them. But every time he tries, they always run and hide. He can't deny, he says he yell at them.
Because he's Gregory. In disguise, hands in his pockets.
Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. Doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory.
He's Gregory.
In disguise, hands in his pockets. He doesn't want you guys to realize.
Let's try that. You keep trying that part.
Sorry.
You keep doing that part. Okay, try not to listen to me. I'm going to try to do my part above it. Okay?
Okay.
Hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive. Averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that
he's Gregory in
No,
disguise.
we're not going that. I want you to keep doing the other part so I can try the over part.
The Gregory.
Yeah, keep doing that. He's Gregory in disguise. I'm going to try to do something different over the top of that.
Okay.
So you try to keep doing your part and not listen to me, okay?
Okay.
He's Gregory
in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. Doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory.
No, keep going. In his pockets.
Now he's walking down the drive, averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory in this.
Don't. I want to keep practicing.
I see.
I see.
You want to keep on practicing that part.
Yeah.
I got it. So just repeat that. Sorry. Okay.
He's Gregory.
In disguise, hands in his pocket. Now he's walking down the drive. Averts his eyes. Doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory. In disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive. Averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory. In disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive. Averts his eyes.
He's Gregory. In disguise, hands in his pockets. Now he's walking down the drive. Averts his eyes. He doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory.
In disguise, hands in his pocket. Now he's walking down the drive. Averts his eyes. Doesn't want you guys to realize that he's Gregory. In disguise, hands in his pocket. Now he's walking down the drive.
Something like that.
It's pretty difficult.
It'd be pretty cool.
It would be really cool.
You could do it as an ending thing, you know?
Yeah.
And then do a few of those and then just end it like that.
Yeah.
I think that sounds pretty rad, actually.
I do too.
Oh, you want to play the brooding song?
Yeah, sure.
That one has two parts in the end that we both have to do. It requires the two parts, you know? So you have to scroll down when we get down to go to the top of it.
Oh,
And
I
then
see.
scroll
It's right
down
here.
as we go, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Just brooding here. Oh, I'm sorry. 2, 3, 4. Just brooding here won't do any good. But brooding's more and more my style. I seek the cheery ways of standing where we stood, 'cause I'd been stuck here a while. And that's despite a natural selfishness that makes it easy to have fun. But flutters in the gut become a fist as all my visions come undone.
I tried to scream, distract, and dream the afternoon away, but having new realities they're down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it.
The reason still unsaid.
Still unsaid.
So I need get out of me.
Need get out of
What's
me.
inside my head?
The stuff inside of mine.
It seems like everybody's so sensitive and ready to just get mad. I seek the civil ways of living like a kid, 'cause who wants to be the dad? Have we lost our sense of scope and scale? Our capacity to laugh? The sense to know when not to wail, and how to tip the golden calf.
I tried to scream, distract, and dream the afternoon away, but having new realities are down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it. I'm out of it.
Still unsaid.
It's still unsaid.
So I need get out of me.
Need get out of
What's
me.
inside my head?
The stuff inside of mine.
Still I'm sad. Sad for me. Sad for her. Unhappily.
Unhappily.
What you call sorrow? I go home. Blues that seem clear down to the bone.
Down to the bone.
Still I'm sad.
Still I'm sad.
Sad for me.
Sad for me.
Sad for her.
Sad for her.
Unhappily.
Unhappily.
What you call sorrow?
What you call sorrow.
I call home.
I call home.
Blues that seem clear down to the bone.
Down to the bone.
Still I'm sad.
Still I'm
So
sad.
sad for me.
Sad for me.
Sad for her. Unhappily.
Unhappily.
What you call sorrow? I call home.
Blues that sing clear down to the
Bone.
We do need to practice, but I like the potential of that. Yeah.
I do too.
All right, can you go up? Up, 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 up. Up, 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 up. Up, 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 up. You want to try singing Amelia with me? Let's give it a shot.
Oh, sure.
Sing along with it.
Yeah.
See what it sounds? Let me go through the chords once before we start singing.
Amelia. Oh,
Nah.
shit. Sorry.
Amelia, go from that place. Take unto you the details of your case. Amelia, when you rise up above, floating ahead and soaring like a dove. What will they say when they look at you then, moving sideways in the space you're in, and staring sidelong with your thirsty grin? Amelia, can't you see, you and I will never be. Amelia, yet you're still free. With too much opportunity to leave out in the rain, Amelia. Amelia, we're watching you. Fell for sure. No matter what we do. Amelia, when you rise up above, floating ahead and soaring like a dove. What will they say when they look at you then, moving sideways in the space you're in, and staring sidelong with your thirsty grin? Amelia, can't you see? You and I will never be Amelia, yet you're still free. With too much opportunity to leave out in the too much opportunity to leave out in the too much opportunity to leave out in the rain, Amelia. Hey, thanks, Darling, for singing with that. Sounded good. I would say in this part, you should go up an octave.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
That's at the bottom of your range there.
Yeah.
You want to try singing Jesus People with me?
What?
You want to try singing Jesus People?
Sure.
Then we'll wrap it up. I don't mean to drag you into an extended singing.
It's okay. Like I said, I like to practice, so.
Okay, so I'm going to go through chords first. And then
Okay.
Jesus were people, but absent of sin. He must then have struggled with regular men and women, of course. When they too were present, disciples all warily eyeing the lesson. Skip that part.
Skip it? Okay.
If people were Jesus, they'd know as they think, and everyone's work would be true. And feelings once spoken would sit where they sink, and we'd all know just what to do. But people like Jesus, once they're betrayed, easy believing forever is lost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. Oh, we did this so Pink was you, huh?
What?
We probably did this with Pink being you.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
The one you thought you knew acts like you never have met. The life you made for two has faded into regret. There's no one unshaken, we all have been struck. But being forsaken don't mean you're forsook. And though in the past we've been hung out to dry, we'll find him at last if we're willing to try. But people aren't Jesus, they're betrayed. Easy believing forever is lost. Maybe naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. Yeah, baby, naivete is not to be saved, but the wise pay a terrible cost. Sorry, I really do have to practice. That's fine, darling. That's a tough one. Anyway, that's a tough song to sing and a tough song to play. We need to, what do you call it? I need to transpose it. It's not a good key for either of us. Where's my mouse?
Right here.
Oh, thank you. Now, you're obviously welcome to sing along with anything that you want to, but I'm going to take you off the spot here.
Okay.
And, I guess I'll play this. I always like to play this song. Gerald has a thought. Gerald has a lot. Gerald has a plot to get to Marjorie's tater tots. I'll play it right. Gerald's got a thought. Gerald's got a thought. Gerald has a lot. Gerald has a plot to get the margarines, tater tots. He's got a good idea for a name-changing business. Thinking now about what to call Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. Gerald always thought there'd be chance enough to return to the work left rough. He'd get back to it eventually, but his visions piled up and his plans would interrupt all the work that started off so hopefully. Now his mind is back on his business, thinking of changing factless to listless. So how all the people will shout his name. And Gerald knows he understands ever more clearly now. He won't provide explanation regarding the why or the how. He'll see you and know you from inside your heart. Exciting, delighting, Gerald plays his part. But Gerald still knew there's too much to do, and he had dropped time in the underview. Too much to rebut, so where, now, and what? Too much time spent nitpicking the skew with you. Now Gerald has a thought, and Gerald has a lot, and Gerald has a plot. Eat the margarine's tasty spots. He's got a good idea for a name-changing business. Thinking now about what to call Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. Gerald has a thought. That went very well. Thanks, Rachel. Rachel's a wonderful wife. Too much noise in the data stream. Loud enough to disrupt everybody's dreams. Frustrations mean mistakes are made until it seems everybody's just throwing shade. I won't be another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow there'd be time for yesterday. It's not the sort of thing that one can borrow. No one willing to lend a day. Your uncertainty's implicit, just like an unexpected visit from a bunch of men all dressed in blue suits. I won't be another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow there'd be time for yesterday. I didn't play that very well. I never do. The song's difficult for me to figure out exactly how to play it. Kind of annoying, but that's how it goes. I'm going to wrap it up after a couple more songs. I know I've been streaming for a long time, playing for a long time. I get it. I got other things to do. We got to go to the store, yada yada. Sammy has a story that need be told, and this is a song for an open road, and such a thing must always do its job. She married up Jeb and turned 19, 4 years in, 3 kids weaned, weary now and questioning the past. Agency outpaces discretion, locking in our courses way too long. The urgency conferred is really just depression, making sure those underneath them always run. Doug at 25 bourbon fun, likewise Doug at 21, and so forth well up into middle age. Well, once that seemed to set him free became his whole identity. Now Doug's about another drunken rage. Agency outpaces discretion, locking in our courses way too young. The urgency convert is really just depression. Offer you incentives, but they haven't got a thing that's fun. Everybody's panicked about the kids. Lock them up with extra dexedrine. Mathematics to produce success or impose more unjust duress. Agency outpaces discretion, locking up our courses way too young. The urgency convert is really just depression, making sure those underneath them always run. Without consent, it's really just oppression by parasites surviving on their wages earned by lying. Well, they feed their fear of dying. Yeah, they feed upon the futures of the young. I didn't play that especially well either. I tried to play too fast, I guess. It's kind of sloppy. In other words, I'm running out of steam. So, not a whole lot of point in playing a whole lot of more songs. But I will play this one. Okay, it's barely on the screen. I'm gonna try to play this one slow. I play this one fast. Santa Ana's from the east are blowing, driving on this mountain fire. Grant and Lana had best be going, they'd cut it down to the wire. And everywhere apocalypse hung heavy, the truck was piling up with ash. Lana got the dogs in the Chevy, and Grant counted out their petty cash. If times are ending, then time is bending. Flames rain down from the sky, while the dog knock out with Grant exhausted. Lana stays awake to cry. 120 out but Labor Day, and that means cooking it outdoors. Guy got distracted and fire got away. Now from Bradford to Arcadia they curse his name. Fire chased them west and down the incline until they reached the foothills below. Found a room cheap for the night online. At least now they had someplace to go. Tomorrow they'd evaluate their options now that their life had burned away. Atlanta's sister has a place in Laughlin. Wasn't really any more to say. If times are ending, then time is bending. Flames rain down from the sky. And while the dogs knock out with Grant exhausted, Atlanta stays awake to cry. That wasn't terrible.
That was good.
Thanks, darling. You're a lovely lady with kind words. So, a smart musical artist doesn't play a long set. You know, they don't play more than an hour because it kind of exhausted the people's ears for what you do.
When we saw Johnny, was it an hour?
Yeah, a little bit over an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, a little over an hour.
It's like just the right time.
It was perfect.
It's an hour plus an encore, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to play this song. I'm not. In other words, I'm not being smart about this as a performance thing. I'm just sort of running through these songs. I'm enjoying playing them and doing what I do. You know. If you want to sing any part of it, you're welcome to. We've done it. That's fine too. I'll start singing it myself.
I will.
If you can do the background and the gray parts, would be very helpful.
The background.
Yeah,
like the response, or.
Yeah, it goes. I have to get to it. Hold on. Does that lead to lesser days? Does that lead to lesser days? Just spill out the over. Just spill out the overwatered past.
Okay.
So that we go walking. Does that lead to lesser days?
Does that lead to lesser days?
Still spill out the overwatered past.
I don't know when to start singing.
Right where we just did. Okay, so I'll sing the regular part now.
Okay.
Does that lead to lesser days?
Does that lead to lesser days?
Still spill out the overwatered. Right there, yeah, you're at the right spot.
At over water?
Still spill out the overwater. Still spill out the over. It's like it's at a certain spot. Can you sing the regular part?
Does that lead to lesser days?
Does that lead to lesser days?
Still spill out the overwater.
Still spill out the overwatered past.
And whoever's life that's
Still okay. Yeah. Right, you want me? I'll do the background.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do
for
the
some
background.
reason I can't.
No
get
problem.
It.
No, it's tricky knowing where to come in. I'll do the background.
Okay.
What's the matter with Chad? Is he terribly bad? Is he very like Dan, who's a terrible man? Is he sort of like Jill, who can't pay her bill? Or rather like Jack, too stuck on the facts? What's the matter with Sue? Will she know what to do if they bring attitude? When they show ingenuity? She talks about you whenever we go walking. What's the matter with Jim? Is she dealing with Jim? Is he hanging with Jim? He's looking terribly thin. What's the deal with Frank? Stealing fish from my tank. He's colluding with you and they're talking to Lou. What's wrong with the ladies? What's the matter with men? From the feelings of Katie to the coldness of Sven. They talk about you whenever we go walking.
Paths that lead to lesser days.
Paths that lead to lesser days.
Still spill out the overwater.
Still spill out the overwatered past.
Whoever's life that's
Still okay. Just tie the sails to the mast. Are you angry at Ken or at Neville again? Don't bother with Kev, he's practically dead. Just focus on Bert, he's medium hurt. What's the quandary for Liz? Did she fail a quiz? What's the matter with Drew? Will she know what to do if they bring attitude? Will she show ingenuity? She talks about you whenever we go walking. Paths that lead to lesser days.
Still spill out the overwater.
Still spill out the overwatered past.
And whoever's left that's
Still okay. Just tie the sails to the mast. 'Cause each of us has much and gravely sinned. Throw up the hands, stiffen the chin. Catastrophe looms heavy overhead again. Time's gone will never be again.
Again.
Not bad.
No.
No,
I haven't sung that in like
yeah,
a really long time.
obviously it needs a little work, but so it goes with everything, right?
Yeah.
Let's try this one. You want to try this one?
Sure.
You don't normally sing, I'll give it a shot, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, he came here with her
And what's the big problem that you can't endure?
You seem so sure it's not appropriate claiming to blame things on Scott. Despite getting caught, he's got you refraining for him, straining for him, going to the gym to make yourself good enough again. Yeah, you guys
both have lots invested.
so much invested.
That's
Not a reason to stay around. Through the years, you've both been tested. Time to move up, find higher ground. Oh, he came here with her. And what's the big problem that you can't endure? You seem so sure it's not appropriate claiming to blame things on Scott. Despite getting caught, he's got you refraining for him, training for him, going to the gym to make yourself good enough again.
be done with him.
Well, good job.
Yeah, good job, you too.
You obviously have heard these songs lots of times, so you know, even if you haven't sung with me officially on them before, you're familiar with them, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, I think we're about out of songs to play, really.
That's a good thing. Not
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
We-
sure. I think I'm going to maybe play Whiteboard before I go. This is the last song. This is it, everybody. Thank you for being here. If you're still here, I'm amazed. You've been very patient listening to me rant through a bunch of guitar stuff. And I hope you have a wonderful day. This is our last song.
wow, we still have 20 people watching.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you all so much for being here. You might call me a rambling man, 'cause I do a lot of thumbing and kicking cans, but it won't do an answer good to call me names. My name is Willie Wood, though I wasn't born and raised in no ghetto, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. You want to get a thing or something? We got drumsticks if you want.
Should you not use the tambourine?
You could use a tambourine, or you could hit the tambourine with the drumstick, or
The
whatever.
drum, yeah.
Here we go.
Now,
You might call me a rambling man, 'cause I do a lot of thumbing and kicking cans, but it won't do an answer good to call me names. My name wasn't Willie Wood, though I wasn't born and raised in no ghetto, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I'm gonna find me a wealthy woman in the line of work that don't take no diploma, 'cause I ain't got much to lose but lost to gain. I ain't gonna be a good time fella, but I ain't no black and I ain't no yellow, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they're giving. I'm proud and white and got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I admit it. If you wanna get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I'm a small town boy, been around a little, and I like the guitar and I like the fiddle, 'cause that's the kind of soul to fan my flame. Blue-eyed Betty, feeling ready, I got to work just to be somebody, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they giving. I'm proud and white and got a song to sing. white boy looking for a plate to do my thing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you got to hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a plate to do my thing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you got to hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing.
Yeah.
Thanks, darling. Good job with that drumming.
Thanks.
All right, that's going to do it for me tonight. I want to thank you all coming out to the Mariposa's live music extravaganza on Snyder Ridge Road. And we hope you have a very pleasant and wonderful good day. Thanks for being here. We love you all. Adieu.